I figured I would go over some of the talents in beta right now and say what I think about them and what direction I think Blizzard should take. Because I don't like some of them and I do like others, and I think most of it is fine. I think just a few things need to get a bit tweaked, and it will just make the class a lot more fun and versatile and just cooler in general without making it OP. So first of all, we'll start off with this tier. So we've got Desperate Prayer, Spectral Guise, and Angelic Bulwark. This is probably the worst tier in terms of ability design and how it affects the game and stuff at the moment, because right now everyone just takes Spectral Guise against pretty much everything because it's really impactful in getting fears. This is as Disc and Holy we're talking about. And I think they should just remove this ability completely. Although it's super cool, it just makes getting a fear like way less skill based. When combined with Feather and Chastise. And I think going for a fear should be a choice where you're exposing yourself, and now that a lot of the instant CC is going to be gone in WoD, it's not going to be like you poke your face out and get instant deep freeze or something. You're gonna have, you're gonna have time to get the fear, and pressure healers and stuff like that, like how it used to be. So I think this should go completely, but we'll start at Desperate Prayer, which I think is fine. I think they just need to tweak the cooldown a bit to match Bulwark, 90 seconds. So if they stick that on a 1.5 minute cooldown maybe, since it will get affected by MS as well. And right now it's just not going to be taken over Bulwark otherwise. Since Bulwark's a passive, I think they should just make that straight up an active, rather than lower than 30%, and then just you pop it, 15% shield, undispellable, 90-second cooldown, easy. It's not much to do there. Here, if they're going to be removing stealth, then they need something else to put there. So going with the trend that this is the survivability tier, there's a Glyph of Fade at the moment, which gives it a 10% damage reduction, and Fade is like 30-second cooldown or something. So they could easily stick that there, maybe buff it to 15% or something to bring it in line with these, whatever values would be balanced, and then it would actually be a choice here by which one to take, whereas right now it's a bit silly. Level 30, Body and Soul is fine, I think. Although it's a passive, you still have to use a shield to get the effect, so you still have to do something. Feathers is nerfed to 60%, but I think they just need to take them out altogether because I think they're a bit silly. And I don't think they'll be needed in WoD. So I suggest that they put Inner Focus there instead. Right now on beta there's a Glyph. Let's see, where is it? Glyphs. Here we go. Basically makes your Fade an Inner Focus, but makes Fade 1 minute 30 cooldown. So I suggest that they just don't have that, because Fade is still sometimes used as an aggro drop in arenas for like random pets and stuff. And instead they put Inner Focus here with the Aura Mastery effect, instead of removing it from the game completely, because right now they've just taken it out. Whether or not they keep the mana reduction, I'd say they shouldn't, because then it would just make this too overpowered. So then basically what you'll have the option to do is you'll have the option to kite or to tank and heal with Inner Focus, which is quite a nice choice and would be different for various setups that you would be playing or playing against. So level 45 talents, Surge of Light is a bit RNG for my liking, 10%. That's not too cool. So instead I'd suggest that they make it a bit more like Serendipity for Holy, and make it a stacking thing. So like 5 casts and you get an instant flash heal. Then it's a lot more controllable, a lot more reliable, and you don't go like a whole game without getting any procs, because that's too RNG for my liking. Mindbender is Mindbender. Not too much to comment on with that. Power Word Solace, I think, hasn't really got any PvP applications. So what they could do, which wouldn't really affect PvE at all, is along with the current what's it called, change or whatever to Holy Fire, what it does, what they could do is, because Holy Fire is now death for healers, they've taken death away from healers, which I'm not a fan of at all. I think there's a lot of other stuff that they could have removed without removing death, but they've done it. So assuming that they're not going to revert that change, what they could do here is make that the thing that gives the damage back for death. But also you need to bear in mind that Holy is Holy School, so if you get locked on Holy, you won't be able to death stuff. It's also has a facing requirement. Holy Fire has a facing requirement, and it's also 30-yard range as opposed to 40. So it sounds like a lot of stuff, but really it's just like this ability will basically be morphed into death. If they make it Fire School, then it's not being locked on Holy won't. Being locked on Holy won't like make it so you can't avoid CZ. It sounds like a lot, but I don't know really. Maybe they could just make so you still have to glyph death, but I'm just really not a fan of that at all. Like having to glyph so that you get the damage back, it's like a lot of priest abilities you have to glyph to get that actual usage, which means that there's a lot of glyphs that priests have to choose from, healing priests that is. Like at the moment I'm literally swapping glyphs every single game, because I can't get all my spells, it's my spell usage, so I have to sacrifice some spells which are less used against some comps. So I don't know. I'm just trying to think how it would impact PvE if this was just death, or makes your Holy Fire into death or some shit like that. I don't know. Have to think about that one, because it's like it's like not really likely that Blizzard will do that change if there's too much stuff. If it's too complicated, you want like a nice elegant solution. So for me, that would just be like makes your Holy Fire into death, gives it a 1% mana thing or something. I don't know. Either that or just remove Holy Fire completely, add death back, and then make Power Word Solace be like your death now gives 1% mana and is usable whenever, but gives damage back. That would be cool. I think that's better actually. Whether or not they removed Holy Fire, they could just remove the glyph for Holy Fire and leave Holy Fire as it is. I don't see any problems with it. Okay, so yeah, that's better. But yeah, we'll have to see. This tier is going to be a non-factor if they leave Fear there, because everyone is just going to take Fear. It's the staple priest ability. No one is going to take Roots or Dominate Mind if Fear is gone, especially with the Tremor nerf. If Fear is there, especially with the Tremor nerf. Like, that's a crazy fucking thing to put there. Void Tendrils is fine. MC is fine, as usual. Had a couple of thoughts what to put here. You could choose between, let's think, you could choose between, wait, where have I written it down? You could put Chastise there, I guess, and take it away from Holy, but I don't really like Chastise because it makes going for Fears a lot less skill based. So I mean, in my opinion, they should remove Chastise completely, but we'll see. they could put like a lower cooldown version of Fear here, like a 30-second one, and have the 45-second one as base. But I think that's too passive. I mean, it would be cool, but it's too passive. I think people would still always take it, to be honest. What also they could put there is some kind of slow, because if feathers are getting removed, priests are going to lack a bit of mobility, as we always have. But that's okay if we got a slow of some kind, and then that in conjunction with this would allow us to kite at times, which would be kind of nice. So then you're trading CC for survivability, basically. So that would be kind of cool. Some kind of dispellable 6-second slow or something, 50% similar to Frost Shock. That would be nice instead of Psychic Scream, because then you'd actually have to make a choice here. 75 talents, Twist of Fate is okay, but I'd like to see somehow it be made like an active rather than a passive. Not really sure how. Don't have any ideas for that one at the moment. PI is fine, as always, and then Spirit Shell. If you spec disc, you get Spirit Shell here, which is all well and good. But I feel like this, you've got Spirit Shell as well as this. Like, I feel like there's no real need to have them both. So like, if you would take Spirit Shell, I don't think you would take this. Which mana is a Flash Heal? So this is just like cheaper Spirit Shell. So then I think people wouldn't take Spirit Shell. Either that or they would go both, but I think that would be overkill. Like the absorb would just get like timed out and fall off and be wasted. So I'm not too sure about that one. Maybe they need to put something else there in Spirit Shell's place. Level 90 talents, don't really have a comment. I don't really like them, but I don't have any ideas for what they could put there instead. I think they're mostly PvE abilities, but Divine Star is kind of cool when you get locked. So not gonna complain, because there's worse things that need to be changed. Again, this Clarity of Will, it's like Spirit Shell, pretty much, just like a bit lower cast but more shield. A bit higher cast time rather, but more shield. But yeah, I mean, I like the idea of having a spell where you cast it and it gives absorb. I mean, I'm not a hater of that. Words of Mending, I think this is the worst thing I've ever seen. At the moment, Pom is like a 1.2k heal or something, whereas let's see what Flash Heal is. 5k, and it's the same cast time. Pom is now the same cast time as Flash Heal. So this is basically, if you do 10 heals, like for example, if we did 10 Flash Heals, then the next heal would get a Pom on it as well. And I don't even know if that gets overwritten by if you do another Pom. It probably does. Haven't tested that out yet. But either way, it's like 10 Flash Heals to get a 1.2k heal for free. So you do 50k healing and you get 1.2k healing extra. It's like insanely low. I don't know what they're thinking with that, really. The numbers are insane. Like, it's just nuts. And then lastly, we've got this bad boy, which is right now nuts. You can use this thing like 6 times, I think, before it becomes less healing than a Flash Heal. What it does basically is it's an instant heal that costs less mana than Flash Heal, heals for more than Flash Heal by quite a way, but when you use it, it reduces all of your healing and absorbs by 10% for 10 seconds. So obviously, if you keep stacking it up, you're going to start healing for less and less. which is cool, but it lasts too long and doesn't stack quick enough. So what people are going to be doing is when people go on them, they're going to just be spamming this, and then they're going to kite. Which is another scary thought. Like, imagine somebody just spams that to survive, like 5-6 globals in a row, and it's just going to be stupid healing. It's going to be more healing than Holy Priests have a Moan, I think, even. And they just spam instants. And then they just spectral guys, and then they're gone, and then the debuff falls off. It's going to be like 0 skill. Like, so what I suggest they do is each use of it should reduce the absorb and healing by 20%. Instead of 10%, but for 5 seconds, because sometimes like you don't know what's going to happen in 10 seconds time. It's a long time, 10 seconds in PvP and PvE. So like damage could vary a lot, you know. So if you've used this a bunch, and then in like 8 seconds time you need to do a lot of burst healing, but you've got like 4 stacks of this shit, it's gonna be like, you're gonna be in trouble, you know. And at the same time, like I said before, the burst healing of it when you're trying to survive is too high. It's just not skillful. So I suggest they stick like a 3-second cooldown on it, like Arcane Barrage used to have, so you can only use it every other global, something like that. And then make it, as I said, 20% stacks 5 times for 5 seconds, and then it's just more elegant and skillful, and there's more thought gone into using it, as opposed to just spamming. So yeah, that's what I think about that one. Whatever thoughts did I have? I guess I could go through glyphs. I haven't really looked at these much yet. Standard Dispel Magic. There's a Fade one, as I mentioned earlier. They should just put that as the talent. Standard Field Glyph. Holy Fire Range Glyph. This is the Holy Fire Death Glyph that I said they should just take out altogether. Leave Holy Fire as it is, and then make this as into your your death talent instead of Holy Fire. I'm just thinking, how would that affect PvE? Probably wouldn't if everyone's just deathing for mana. Would be fine. So yeah, you death at any time, gives you a bit of damage back, which restores 1% mana. No worries. Leap of Faith, same as it was. Levitate, same. Master Spell, yeah, that's the same. Penance, same. Powered Shield, same. I'm not a fan of this glyph. I think it's a bit rubbish. Don't think anyone uses it. 20% of the absorb from your Powered Shield is converted into healing. Like, why would you ever want to use that? Just doesn't really make much sense. First charge, that's the same. Targets of your psychic theme, psychic stream now tremble in place instead of fleeing in fear. Pretty sure that's the same as it is. Purify, same. Reflective Shield, same. Restore Faith, that's really cool. This is new. Instead of gripping someone, you get grip to them, so that could be cool against certain stuff. Scourge Imprisonment, same. Shadow Magic, that's the Fade one. That's new. That makes your Fade into Aura Mastery. I commented on that before as well. Smite is the same. Weakened Soul is the same. This is new. Purification now has a maximum of 2 charges, but cooldown is increased by... I'm assuming that's going to be changed. I heard somewhere that it's going to be 12 seconds or something, from 8. So you have 2 charges on your Dispel now, which is kind of cool. So that's a nice one to pick up. Then for Holy we have same. And then some shadow stuff. I think everything else is the same here. I'm not really sure about the shadow stuff. I haven't looked at it really. So yeah, all of that is basically the same. I think that's everything. Most of the stuff I wanted to say anyway. About priests right now. What else? Let me see my other document. Remove stealth. Oh yeah, they removed Renew from Healer Priest as well. I'm not a fan of that, but if that's the direction that they're going in, fair enough. But I think, again, there's a lot of other stuff they could remove without removing Renew. But Disc does have shields, so I guess we trade that for heal over time potential, which is fair, I suppose. Depends on other healers really, though. I haven't looked at other healers that much. Field, yeah, Field should be underspellable but shorter duration. Right now, Field is bad. Like, not bad as an ability, but bad for the game, because it's like a lot of the time it's about who dispels Field first. Which is RNG. So they could do a couple of things. They could make Field get removed first time always, which I am not too much of a fan of. Or what they could do is just make Field a 10-second duration, but underspellable. So you're using it more like you would with the new Tremor Totem. You use it before you think you're going to get feared. So like a lot of people Field fears when they think the priest is going to fear, they pop Field that second and then they immune the fear. So it will be used a lot more like that as opposed to the current use, which is just put it on the start and then do that afterwards. If it was like that, then I would suggest the cooldown maybe be reduced to 2 minutes or something like that, and then remove that glyph, because otherwise it's gonna like never get used. But that's not a huge deal. Master Spell and Lightwell do not benefit from pushback reduction. I know they're changing all pushback reduction in WoD, so hopefully they're in line with other priest heals in WoD. There's also a mind control DC bug that's been in the game for a long time now. Blizzard should look at trying to fix that, because it's really annoying. There's also a bug with Lightwell, where if you're drinking and somebody gets healed by Lightwell, you stand up, which is really annoying. Yeah, I think that's everything. This is way longer than I thought it was going to be, so sorry about that. But yeah, I'll post a link to my suggested talent changes in the description so you can check it out for yourselves. And yeah.